three. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
All right, welcome to Teaching Crypto. Never a dull moment. Just when you think things are quiet, Mr. FOMO, we had some fireworks over the weekend as our friends, we wish they were our friends. We'd have a lot more money in our wallet. Sam Bankman-Fried and CZ got into it. And obviously, this affects Voyager and ourselves as we wait for the bankruptcy to clear up on December 8th because our funds are supposed to be headed to FTX. Well, Binance is saying they are liquidating a large amount of FTT currency and FTT token. And these two got into it. A lot of people are sounding the alarms on FTX. Is it FUD? Is it reality? It's kind of uneasy when you see that Steady Lads tweet over and over because you even brought up, I'm going to give you credit. You didn't say this on the show. You didn't follow your advice. But when Steve said Voyagers will hear from you, your number one your number one thought was, man, this seems a lot like Luna. And all of us remember that Steady Lads. Yeah, this is horrible for the industry, Lucy. I agree. Horrible for the industry with these two. Again, crypto is destroying itself within. It's sad. It's been happening now for over a year with all the damaging things that have happened. Voyager, Celsius, all of the malicious attacks on some of the blockchain. So, Mr. Crypto, what is your reaction? And as a creditor right now waiting to get your funds back, are you a little bit uneasy about what's happening with FTX?
To me, this signals, well, first of all, when you texted me about this today, my response to you or yesterday or whenever it was, my response to you was war. And that's exactly what I thought all of this was. And when you see CZ and Binance coming out and saying that this is making them nervous and they're going to sell off all of these tokens, it looks like Binance is going to war with SBF and FTX. And, a lot of people were saying that, no, they're just, being careful. And this looks like it looks like these two are getting ready to start firing more shots at each other. I don't think that this is over yet. And I think that this is going to get uglier before it gets better. But remember, and this is something that I heard from DJ Crypto and Obi-Wan as well, that Binance was not, remember, we thought they were going to be a big player in the auction, but they weren't allowed to participate in the auction because of some sketchy finances. And so that to me signaled, Binance wasn't happy about this and they were going to come back. And now they are coming back at FTX. And Lucy, that's a good point. At the same time, Sam owns a lot of BNB, but BNB has value, more than FTT. I would take that BNB. And to be honest with you, the BNB,
Sam would be foolish to sell the BNB right now, when in a couple of years, it's at least going to double or triple.
Well, the same argument could be made for the FTT, but I just think, of the two, I think the BNB is greater. But I think if he was going to go to war, he would need billions of BNB the same way.
FTT token doesn't have an ecosystem. It's
It's
not on our list for the bear. Mr. FOMO, I want to stop you. FTT token is not on our list for our viewing audience to really look at for the bear. It doesn't have an ecosystem. It doesn't have the same utility. In fact, its utility is very bad.
And people don't realize how huge Binance is comparatively. Binance is massive.
Worldwide.
Right. And so comparatively, Sam is in trouble if they're going to go to war like that. And I don't think that he has the funds to be able to sell off the BNB the way CZ has the funds to be able to sell off the FTT. And the other thing that hurts is that we found out that a lot of Alameda's backing and a lot of their treasury is FTT. And, if they're selling off FTT in buckets, then that's going to drop the price. That's going to make it harder for them to hold up that treasury. So there's a lot of problems there that are going to start showing up for FTX. And so for me, it made me start looking at the idea of just taking that check. If this
that is
all
true.
still ends
Remind
up
our viewers, hopefully most of them got to see your solo act on Saturday. Remind our viewers, if you don't want your funds and your crypto transferred, what is your other option where, yes, you would not get crypto back, but you would get monetary value? Can you go over that one last time?
you can just take a payout. So instead of taking the migration over to FTX, you can just take a distribution.
Yeah, Ant is saying there's mutual shared distribution for both if they do something stupid. Yeah, it's just bad for the industry. And again, who's suffering here? The customer, right? And for crypto to have mass appeal, these things have to stop. This is not
and I think this is a valid point that Lucy's making. The judge is also a sort of a mediator here and a moderator in this. And the judge, if they saw that Alameda and FTX were insolvent, I doubt that they would allow them to go through.
Oh, there's no way. There's no way. This has to be cleared up.
So that's a great point.
This has got to be cleared up by December 8th. So I wouldn't lose any sleep yet. But gosh, it's starting. You're starting to hear the whispers, and I think FTX is safe, but I cannot guarantee it on the show. I really cannot.
My feeling on this, and you're also talking to a Voyager customer, but my feeling on this is that FTX is safe, and that that a lot of this is, and I believe that Anna's right. It's a mutual destruction if they continue down this path. So it just, I just don't know. I think that FTX will be fine in the long run. I think that the problem is right now it looks ugly with the way that the market is and what they're holding and the fact that they minted a lot of those things. But it's not like those things don't have value. They do have value.
Yeah, they're not. Right now, we don't want to scare anyone. They're not insolvent, but things are not as rosy as they looked a few months ago for FTX. And speaking of a little bit of scary news here, and if you're not seeing this, this morning, and this is interesting, Mr. FOMO, the U.S. Department of Justice seized $3.6 billion worth of Bitcoin in connection with the Silk Road fraud, the largest crypto seize ever. It didn't get a ton of news because there's other stuff going on in the world right now. And then just yesterday, 152,000 BTC, 3.15 billion, has been added to exchanges. Now, this does not mean this all is getting sold, right? Doesn't mean that there's going to be a gigantic dump. But traditionally, December and bear markets have not been pretty. And so it was rational to think some of this Bitcoin is going to be sold off, right? Now, I don't want to sound the alarms. I don't think you're going to see 10K BTC, but be aware, if you are waiting on 28, 30K BTC, like some of the influencers are saying that we are getting an early recovery, just be very careful.
I mean, what did we see last year? We saw a bit of a sort of sideways movement leading up to Thanksgiving. We speculated that maybe, and this was before we even had a show, but we speculated that maybe there was an opportunity for people to get dumped on. Everybody goes home and tells grandma about crypto, and then grandma.
Well, you said that, not me. I was waiting for the super cycle.
Everybody else turns around and dumps on grandma, and that's kind of what happened. And then the fallout just continued on into February, March, April, May, into June. So I don't know.
It's not good.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not good, and you're running into a time in the holidays where people are going to maybe sell assets to pay bills, maybe sell assets to pay for things that they want to purchase for themselves or for other people. This isn't a great time to be looking for the market to explode. I hate to say that because I know that's why people are tuning in. But
you want to see, just in case people are new to crypto, you want to see that leave the exchanges into cold and private wallets. You don't want to see it come in because that's how people sell off and connect to their banks and cash out. So we will see what happens. I don't expect 10K BTC like some people are calling for doomsday. single digits. But would it shock me if we hit 16K? It would not. I've been saying that for months. It would not. I don't think we're going to see a real recovery, a full recovery until 2024. I'll keep saying that. I know that's not great for our show because by the way, hit that subscribe, hit that like. We're at 350. We're going to give you some cryptos before we leave today that we starting to feel pretty good at. And again, remember DCA, it is a bear, but the reality is it's very important to be honest. And right now, anyone on YouTube that's telling you or on Twitter that the bear is starting to turn around, they're not being honest. It's not based on data. It's not being based on facts. So I think it's important to keep that in mind. So really quickly, Mr. FOMO, I wanted to give some good news. It was a lot of bad news to start the program, but 2 cryptos, and we're going to go into more in-depth detail on Thursday or Wednesday. We'll see. Probably Thursday. But Solana and Polygon, we only talked about real-world utility. Someone really quickly is asking, are we screwed? I don't want to sound the alarms like that. I don't think so. We got to trust the judge. We got to trust the process. I think if things got really hairy with FTX, the judge would take some action. Now, here's the really going back to Voyager before we just touch briefly on Solana and Polygon. I don't know if a second buy or cross tower, I'm not buying, right? So I don't know. Chapter 7, it did come to the information that we're looking, hopefully, best case between 70 and 75. We're not limited at 72% threshold. So best case could be 75, depending on the 20-day average. But if the FTX doomsday scenario where FTX falls apart, we go into Chapter 7, the percentages are probably not going to be that great. That standalone plan went down to 50 to 60%. So that I would get concerned if FTX backs out, something crazy happens over the next few weeks. Remember, this is all going to play out for the next 31 days on December 8th. So no, Luna, I wouldn't get too concerned, but keep the show handy. Keep your alerts on, subscribe. We will, if anything hits, we'll definitely say. But we talked about utility and real-world utility, and whether it's with Google or whether if it's other internet companies, Solana and Polygon before has been working with the NFL. They seem to kind of be cracking that line between real world and crypto utility. And I want to say crypto utility is not always the same as real world. One project we were super high on was VeChain, and we found out the hard way its utility was more in the crypto world and not in the real world. So are you as not too much info here. We're going to save that for later in the week. Are you as high on Solana and Polygon, one of your original nice bets?
I think I'll always have a special place in my heart for both of these, but Polygon especially. Solana recently had some news where they are going to be working with Circle on Eurocoin as a stable coin for the European Union. But my problem with Solana was the outages. And so, as long as they've got that short up, then that is something that, because everything else they've got rolling for them. But yeah, this new partnership with Circle to get this Eurocoin out, I think is important for them. And I always love Matic.
And to me, Solana and Polygon are 2 projects that are going to put pressure on a project like ADA, Cardano. It seems like, ADA, you're either, it's coming, but it's like, when is it coming? At some point, you got to deliver. And some people are like, yeah, they have delivered. Other people are like, nah, they really haven't delivered. For me, I've not mentioned Cardano as one I would hold during the bear. But again, the price is low, and they do still have a lot of followers, a lot of fans. We'll just see at some point.
Wait till Cardano gets down into the 30s.
Yeah. All right, guys.
And it's something that Luna pointed out that I want to make sure everybody knows. We will get more of a percentage back from this Voyager settlement if the market pumps. So if the market pumps, it benefits everybody. If just your coin pumps, let's say AZ holds Audius and nobody else holds Audius, and Audius 100x's, he gets to share those profits with everybody. And it gets split for everybody as a piece of the pie. But if the whole market pumps, then everybody's going to get more. If we all, or a lot of us, migrate to FTX, which looks like is probably not going to happen with all this FUD that's going around, then there are benchmarks and thresholds that if we reach those, we'll get more and more back. So there is hope that we could even get more than 75, even closer to 80% or more, depending, on the hopium that you're smoking. But yeah, there is a chance that we could get a lot more back. So the hope is that this one goes through and that we don't have to deal with that liquidation, because we
Yeah,
were
and who knows?
really close.
Maybe we get a January recovery after a poor December, and that's part of the 20-day average. Right now, guys, we are looking at February as a realistic. So you were saying February, I was saying January. It looks like February is when you can get that money in your FTX account or cashed out if you choose just to cash
That's
out
right.
and not take crypto back.
Yeah, by
So guys,
mid-February, and that's not entirely true. That what they said was by mid-February they hope to have most of the disbursements done. So that could actually start earlier than that.
okay, good.
But they're just hoping to have most
We're
of
just being
them or most of
realistic.
them done by
Maybe
February.
things are delayed and things like that, as we've seen in court. But guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We hope it's late December. Let's hope so. Let's cross our fingers. For Mr. FOMO, this is AZcrypto. Again, have a great night.
See you guys.